New York.
How did your family come to live in the Bronx?
They immigrated from Western Europe.
Were there any other family members in the area at the time?
Yes.
Who were they?
My grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins.
Were there any special items in the house that you remember, or the
No.
apartment?
None.
Okay. What's your earliest childhood memory?
I don't know.
Okay, you have any childhood memories?
No. Taking pictures with my brothers and sister, riding a horse. I don't know.
Do you remember any of the games that you played when you were growing up, like stoop ball or...
Yeah, we played stoop ball, Johnny and a pony.
What was Johnny and a Pony?
Well, you had one guy stand against a solid brick wall, and another guy would bend down like a donkey and put his head in the guy's chest, and you would run and jump on the guy's back, and then somebody else would do the same thing, see how many people he could hold.
Sounds interesting. Do you remember your favorite toys?
No.
Okay. What did you do for fun when you were a kid? Like movies, beach, etc.?
I read comic books and went to the movies.
What kind of comic books did you read?
Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all the superheroes.
When you were growing up, did you have any family chores?
No.
Did you receive an allowance?
Yes.
So you must have had chores for the allowance.
I don't know.
Okay. What was school like for you as a child?
Oh, just school. I didn't really care for it, but you had to go to school.
What were your best and worst subjects?
English was my best, history was my best, and mathematics was my worst.
Okay. Did you finish high school?
Yes,
Did you go to college?
for about 2 years.
Okay. What were the school activities or sports that you participated in?
Track.
Do you remember any fads from your youth? Like in my youth, the Beatles came.
No, just Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, rhythm and blues.
What were the popular hairstyles?
They call them a DA. It's called duck's ass.
What were the popular clothes like that were different than today?
They were loose-fitting, big, and looked stupid.
Who were your childhood heroes?
I don't know if I had any heroes.
Even Batman, Superman?
Yeah, I guess that was who my heroes were.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
What do you think your favorite song or your favorite type of music was growing up?
Popular music and classical.
Did you have any pets that you can remember?
No, my sister didn't like pets, so we didn't have pets.
All right. Your religion was?
Jewish.
And did you go to regular temple services or?
Yeah, of course. Until I bar mitzvah.
What was that like?
It was a big party.
Okay. Tell me a little about it. If anything you can remember about it. First of all, you have a twin brother, so I guess the two of you got bar mitzvah together.
Yeah. We had all of our family, aunts, uncles. Everybody was there.
Nice. Do you remember any of your friends growing up?
Yeah.
Tell me a little about them, or them specifically.
Well, I had Mickey Politi. He was a good friend of mine, lived in my building. I had Lenny Limey, who came from England and lived about a half a mile away. And we were good friends. And then I had Ralph Napolitano, who, until after I was married, was a good friend. Then he moved and we moved. And we didn't see each other since.
Okay. Do you remember any world events that had an impact on your life while you were growing up? Did any of them personally affect your family?
Yes. Pearl Harbor affected it a lot. Death of Franklin Roosevelt. My family grieved for a long time, although I don't know why, because he wasn't friendly to the Jewish people anyway.
Okay. Describe a typical family dinner. Did you all eat together as a family? Who did the cooking? What were your favorite foods?
My mother did cooking, and my sister, when she was not there, did the cooking for us.
Okay, how were the holidays? Birthdays, Hanukkah, celebrated in your family? Did your family have special traditions?
Yes. We celebrated Passover traditionally. We celebrated Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. My father always went to shul, and I had to go with him till I was bar mitzvah. And that's it.
Okay. How is the world today different from what it was like when you were a child?
Well, now it's a nuclear world. Before it was just, if you shook hands with somebody, your handshake was as good as a contract. And that changed a lot. Right now, today, there's all these con men and people out to get your money and cheat you and steal your identity. We never had that then. We never locked our doors.
So there was a much better bond when you were growing up. When you said something, you meant it. All the contracts were...
Everybody was family.
Right. Okay. Is there a naming tradition in your family, such as always giving the firstborn son the name of his parental grandfather?
No.
Do you remember any stories that have come down to you from your parents, grandparents, or most distant ancestors?
Not really, no.
Okay, are there any stories about famous or infamous relatives in your family that you'd like to share?
No, I had some cousins that had a little record deal going for themselves. Larry Klein was his name, and he was a singer. His father was in a band, and he did a lot of entertaining for all the cousins.
What type of music did he play?
Everything that was popular at the time of year.
Okay. Do you remember any recipes that was passed down from your family members to Baba Betty?
No, none.
Okay. Was there any special meals that she liked to cook regularly for you guys?
No, she cooked meatloaf with an egg in it. She cooked pot roast. She took and made scraps of food that was left over and made Chinese noodles with the food mixed in from the chicken and things like that.
Why would she take scraps? Was it because of the times?
Yes, we were on welfare. And there was no money.
Okay. Are there any physical characteristics that run in your family, throughout your family, even to today?
Yes, I have a twin brother, I have an older brother, sister, and we all resemble each other in some way. My father I resemble. Those are physical characteristics.
What's the full name of your spouse?
Doris Geringer,
Of your parents?
Nat and Betty Geringer,
Of your sister?
Ian Geringer,
Of your two brothers?
Harold and Saul Geringer.
Okay, I'm going to go somewhere else now. When and how did you meet your spouse?
Met her at Orchard Beach.
How?
I went there with some friends, she was there, and we hit on them.
Okay. What was it like when you proposed? Tell me a little about it, in just a brief description.
Well, I proposed on the telephone and through mail. And then Doris flew out to California and we got married.
How'd you feel when she accepted?
Good, great,
Okay, can you remember that feeling?
yep.
Where and when did you get married?
We got married in Las Vegas in 1955.
Okay. What memory stands out about that day to today?
I was in the service and I had all my cousins and friends travel from Camp Pendleton in California to Las Vegas where we got married.
Okay. How would you describe your spouse?
Lovable.
Okay. And what's the one thing or the most admirable thing about them?
Most admirable thing. She's a very good person, Doris. She's very caring, and she looks after my every need.
Okay. How many years have you been married?
58 years.
Okay. What's kept it such a successful marriage?
We love each other.
Okay. Do you remember finding out you were going to be a parent for the first time?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was exciting.
Okay. What was your firstborn's name?
Kenneth Geringer.
Why'd you choose that name?
It's the name we liked.
Okay. What was your proudest moment as a parent?
And my children grew up to be good, honest, caring, and lovely individuals.
Do you have any other children?
Kenny and Amy,
Okay. Why'd you pick the name Amy?
because I liked it.
Okay. What did your family enjoy doing together when when your kids were growing up?
We would get together with all the family and my father, and we'd go out on Sunday to the park or someplace to eat together.
Okay. Can you tell me about your profession and how you got into the various things that you did?
It's very uninteresting, my profession.
Oh, it's all interesting.
No, it's not interesting. It's very uninteresting. My profession was when I was in service, I was a combat corpsman and took care of medical needs of my fellow Marines. And when I got out of the service, I got a job with the wholesale companies buying and selling socks.
So back then, you were a salesman working for a company, and that was probably in the mid 60s,
Huh?
1960s?
It was even before that. It was the middle to the late 50s.
Okay. And eventually, you did something to leave that business, move and start your own business. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yes. Doris was working for a decorating company in Rockland County, and I didn't like my job selling socks and traveling, so we decided to try to do something our own, and we opened our own decorating business, and it was successful, but only after trial and error.
Okay. So you're pretty much, after working for a company, you went out on your own and you've been an entrepreneur ever since.
I don't know if you'd call it an entrepreneur, but a salesperson selling draperies, upholstery, furniture.
Okay.
things like that.
I'm going to leave here for a little, and I'd like to go back a little to when you decided to join the military. You had a twin brother, and he joined first. Is that correct?
No. I joined a year ahead of him.
Oh, you joined first. Can you tell me about that?
No, there's nothing to tell. I don't want to talk about my military.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll leave there. All right, if you could have had any other profession, what would it have been?
I don't know. I used to do a lot of drawing and painting, so maybe I would have been an artist.
Yes, you were a good artist. Okay, of all the things you've learned from your parents, which do you feel was most valuable?
To be honest and to be a good friend. And
What?
to always be a good person.
Yeah, that was your dad. Your dad was a very honorable guy. You want to talk about?
So was my mother.
Let's start with your dad, then we'll get to your mother. Your dad, you know, going as far back as I was told, he came here, grew up here, and he was a cab driver.
Yep.
Want to tell me a little about that?
I was a
if you can
cab
elaborate?
driver during the Depression when I was born, and my family. My twin brother and I are the youngest. Harold is next, oldest, and my sister is the oldest. And my father was driving cab with no seats. He had to do orange boxes in there, and all the carbon monoxide and everything, and driving like that, he broke his back. Had to go on welfare.
Okay, and after that, like you, he became an entrepreneur. I know when I was growing up, I know he had a menswear store in the Bronx.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Because my uncle had the men's store and gave my father a job, you know, cleaning up and taking care of things, but, you know, maybe trying to learn how to sell, things like that. And after several years, my father saved enough money to buy a partnership in the business.
Okay, because I knew him as owning the business, and he called it the Three Geringers.
After many years, he and his partner split. He opened a different store. My father kept the original store. And that's it. They called it the Three Geringers after Harold, Saul, and myself.
So the three boys were the Three Geringers.
Three Geringers.
We always thought it was the three of us, Jeffrey, Kenny, and Sheldon, before Danny was born. Okay, let's get into your mother now.
Isn't this over yet?
Almost. Let's talk about a little. We got to be fair to your mom. Let's talk about your mom a little. You started.
I don't want to. I'm tired.
Okay. One more question, okay? What's the one thing you want people to remember about you?
I really don't know. I want them, however they felt about me, if they liked me, if they didn't like me, if I was good, bad. That's the impression they had, and that's what they should remember.
Okay, this is a wrap. Good job. The video you just saw of Martin Geringer was taped on April 24th, 2013. Marty is presently a late stage 3 bladder cancer patient.